In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the full turnaround strategy with the Bet365 2-up offer. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about with the full turnaround strategy, what it essentially means is obviously you back the team with the bookmaker. So say you back Manchester United with a bookmaker, Bet365. You lay the team on the betting exchange, Man United again. If the team go 2 goals up, so Man United in this example, you get paid out by the bookmaker early. But instead of cashing out like you normally would with a 2-up offer, you just leave the match to run and hope to see that the opponent, what has gone 2 goals down, pull the game back level to a drawing position, and then that team either end up drawing the match or miraculously they go on to win the match. If that occurs, you win on both your back bet with the bookmaker and you win on your lay bet on the betting exchange as well. So you have an absolutely enormous profit from the 2-up offer. And this is called the full turnaround strategy with the 2-up offer. Now this strategy is a really good strategy and it can lock you in some really nice profits. It's not my preferred strategy. I prefer the cash out strategy, which I'll leave a card to in one of the corners of this video if you want to check that out. That's my preferred strategy. That helps me make about £1,000 more or less each month, so that's the way I prefer to do it. But this strategy will also help you lock in pretty much the same amount of money as that as well, if not a little bit more, because of the high variance that comes along with this strategy. So just before I jump in, I want to let you in on my brand new Facebook group. So if you've not already heard, I've built a brand new Facebook group. I'll leave the link down below this video in the description of this video. Feel free to check it out, request to join. I'll accept anybody that requests to join. And that group's just for us to chat about extra places, 2-up offer, anything like that, give you any solve any problems that you've got, answer any queries that you've got, and help you lock in some big profits within that group. So feel free to check that out. I'll leave the link once again down below in the description. Feel free to check that out whenever you want. And if you won't mind, guys, just drop me a like and hit that subscribe button if you like the content that I'm producing and you want to see more of it as soon as it's released. That helps me out massively and it's much appreciated. So anyway, let's jump over the computer screen and let's jump into the full turnaround strategy with a Bet365 2-up offer. Okay, so the full turnaround strategy is, as it says on the screen, is a high variance strategy. Now what a high variance strategy is, and what I mean by that if you're not already familiar with what I'm talking about, is the fact that you'll win very little, so you'll almost not win at all and you'll lose almost all of the time. So you'll have lots and lots of losses, this many losses and about this many wins, and that's what I mean by high variance. Now even though this is the case, it is still very much profitable, and this is because the losses will need to be very, very small and the wins will need to be really, really large, which this can be achieved with the full turnaround strategy. You can go lots and lots of games losing, taking small qualifying losses each time, and have an absolutely enormous win, an enormous full turnaround, which puts you in a massive profit and it wipes out all the small qualifying losses that you've been taking along the way. So this is what this full turnaround strategy is. Lots of very small losses, very few massive wins. So the pros of doing this strategy, the pros of doing the full turnaround strategy over the cash out strategy, are the fact that it's just very fast. There's no cashing out whatsoever. You don't have to be checking your phone, checking to see if the team that your back's gone 2 goals up and whether or not you need to cash out and things like that. It runs passively in the background, which again just ties into this being very fast. So it just runs very passively. You don't need to be checking your phone, checking to cash out. You just place the back bet with the bookmaker on the team to win, place the lay bet on the betting exchange, laying the team to not win, and that's it. You can forget about it. You don't need to be checking your phone, checking the scores, checking to see if the team's gone 2 goals up. It's just 1, 2, done. It's very fast and it all runs very passively in the background. And it only requires very few wins each month to be profitable. So you can get away a lot of the time with just having 1 win and being profitable from doing this full turnaround 2-up strategy. 1 or 2 wins will put you in a profit almost certainly. The fact is you're not going to get very much more than that anyway, so you're only going to get a very small amount of wins, but it's all going to run very passively in the background and it's going to be super fast as well because you're not going to have to cash out and check the scores and things like that. So those are the pros to doing the full turnaround strategy. The negatives to it, lots and lots of losses, and as you can see I've even put an exclamation point there just to emphasise the fact that you will get lots and lots of losses. So you need to be psychologically in tune with yourself and be able to handle these losses. So it's important that you can accept this before you jump into doing it. Okay, I'm losing in the short term, but over this extended period of time I'm going to be more than profitable, and it's going to be more than working out in my favour. So can you handle these lots and lots of losses that you're going to be taking truthfully? You've got to answer this truthfully as well. And then again, month-long downswings are possible. So they're not super common, but you literally could go from the first day of the month to the last day of the month and not have a full turnaround. But the next month after that, you might have 2 or 3 full turnarounds in quick succession. So you can see it's all pretty efficient and it will all even out to you. But it's all about being able to handle this negative variance and be able to take these lots of losses that you will be taking and be able to handle the fact that you could, it's not super common, but you could go on a month-long downswing where you lose every single offer and you temporarily lose quite a bit of money. So you need to be able to handle those things. And the final con is it does require a large bank to do this because of the reasons I just mentioned. You could go on lots of losses, run out of money in the short term. Again, you'll be profitable long term, certainly, because the maths is, without question, the maths is in your favour, it's positive EV. But if you run out of money in the short term, you can't get to that profitable position. Obviously, there's a problem there. You need to be able to get to that profitable position and work your way through that negative variance. So those are the 3 cons. Large bankroll required, month downswings, not super common, they are possible though, and you will take quite a lot of losses, and all your offers, pretty much for the most part, you will lose on. Okay, so let's jump in. If you've weighed up your own options there, your pros and your cons, and you decided you want to go for this strategy over the cash out strategy, which again, I like the cash out strategy. I've done this before in the past for a couple of months here and there, but I always seem to revert back to the cash out strategy. I like the way it feels. If you're happy to do the high variance strategy, happy to go for the full turnaround strategy, the back stakes you want to be using are slightly different to the cash out back stakes. Still a little bit of variable staking. I always like to do a bit of variable staking at different odds, but these back stakes, you basically want to be going for £100 up to £200 in back stakes, and the odds range that you want to be doing your 2-ups in, exactly the same as the cash out method. I always say to people, go for an odds range of about 2.0 up to 4.0. If you're staking over 4.0 with big stakes, it just looks super unnatural and it's going to bring a lot of unwanted attention to your account. So I wouldn't recommend going over 4.0 and going under 2.0, especially with this high variance strategy, because the teams will be odds on underneath 2.0's odds on. The chance of the full turnaround is really, really minimal, because obviously you've got these odds on favourites what are going to be going 2 goals ahead just to trigger your early payout, and then you've obviously got very little chance of the opposition pulling the game back level again, and then the match finishing as a draw and the opposition winning 2 goals down. So for me, I've always found that this range here, 2.0 to 4.0, is the best for any style of 2-up offer you're doing, whether you're doing the cash out method or the full turnaround high variance method. And you can see I've just put the stakes in there. So the largest stake should be at 2.0. So in my case here, I'd be staking £200 at 2.0. And the higher the odds, you want to be staking less because you don't need as much to pull out big profits, and it looks more natural for your account as well. So odds at 2.0, I'd be staking £200. Or if a 2-up comes in at 4.0, I'd be staking £100. Or if there was one that come in within the middle of the 2, so at 3.0, I'd be staking like 150. And you don't have to stick to that, religiously and relentlessly stick to that, but that is what I would recommend where your staking should be at what odds range. And obviously, if you're using larger stakes, I don't recommend going too large, because you're going to be getting on a lot of matches. You don't want to be getting on stakes what are too large because of the variance. You want to keep your qualifying losses to a minimum. But if your stakes are larger, obviously you just fit this in around these odds here. Or if they were shorter, if you're using £50 and £100, it would obviously fit in around these 2 different odds as well. So your match selection after this should, without question, be no lower than a 98% match. You shouldn't be taking matches any lower than 98%, specifically on this strategy. Even with a cash out method, I wouldn't recommend it, but for this, because of the variance that's involved and the qualifying losses that you'll be taking continuously, they need to be kept to an absolute minimum. And you do that by having the no lower than a 98% match. So 100% match, if you're not familiar, would be where the back odds with a bookmaker were exactly the same as the lay odds with a betting exchange. So they might be free on the bookmaker's website and free on the exchange. That would entail a 100% odds match. And obviously, if there's a discrepancy between the odds, so the back odds are lower than the lay odds, which is pretty much always the case with the bookmaker, you'll start to get a lower percentage match. So minimum you want to be taking is a 98% match. If you can get a 100% match, absolutely fantastic, or a 99% match, that's great, but the minimum you want to go no lower than a 98% match. And the divisions you want to be taking these matches in, which again is really important, this are these 5 divisions here. So the Premier League is the first one, Championship, Champions League, obviously a big European competition, that's not a division. And then these 2 at the bottom here as well, so the La Liga, Spanish La Liga, and the German Bundesliga. So with these top 3, Premier League, Championship, Champions League, if a 2-up comes through on your phone, and if you're not set up 2-ups on your phone, by the way, I'll leave a card in one of the corners of this video, which will walk you through how you can get 2-up alerts directly to your phone, so you don't have to mess around looking for 2-ups. I've got a video that will show you how to do that, which I'll leave a card in one of the corners of this video. But you want to have that set up. If a 2-up comes through on your phone and it's in one of these top 3 divisions, so the Premier League, the Championship, or the Champions League, you want to take it. You don't want to be questioning it or anything like that. If the match is above 98%, regardless of the teams, get on it, basically, because a lot of these offers, a lot of these 2-up offers are going to lose, and you need to have as many chances as you can to hit the 2-up, basically, to hit the full turnaround rather. But for these 2 divisions at the bottom, the La Liga and the Bundesliga, what I'd recommend with these, because these 2 divisions are obviously outside of England, so La Liga's in Spain, Bundesliga's in Germany, I'd only get on these if there was a big team playing within these games. So in the La Liga, say like Real Madrid were playing, or Barcelona, or a big Spanish team, what a lot of people from the UK actually know who they are, I'll get on that if there was a big team in there. But if it's 2 random towns in Spain playing each other who no one really knows in the UK, I would avoid that. It doesn't look good for your account health, and it'll give you a decent chance of being gubbed, more of a chance of being gubbed. The same thing with Bundesliga in Germany as well. If you've got 2 random towns in Germany what are playing each other, no one really knows who they are in the UK, I would avoid that. But if you've got big teams playing in the match, like RB Leipzig, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, big team in Germany, what's in the match, I'll get on them. So the top 3, any teams, 98% match, you want to be getting on them. Bottom 2, La Liga and Bundesliga, if there's big teams involved in there, especially if there's 2 big teams playing each other, I'd recommend getting on them. But obviously don't get on every single match with the bottom 2, because it's not going to look great for your account if you're betting on 2 random teams in Germany or Spain with like a £200 back stake. Just looks a little bit dodgy. So the basic thing you're looking for, we'll go for it again here, the back stakes, £200 and £100, and the odds range is 2 to 4.0. So the bigger the back stake, the shorter the odds. So at 2.0 you'd want to be staking £200, or if you've got a 2-up what come through at 4.0 you'd want to be staking £100. And if you've got something in between the 2, obviously you'd want to stake somewhere in between the 2. You don't have to stick to that religiously, like I said, but that's just a backbone what I'd recommend, and obviously you can fit in your stakes around that as well. And then the match selection, 98% match. You don't want to be taking anything below 98%. I'll reiterate that again, nothing below 98%. It's high variance, you need to be making sure your qualifying losses are really, really small pretty much all the time with this, so you don't cut into that value margin that you've got too much. So you want to be looking for all that criteria. The back stakes, obviously we mentioned, the odds range 2 to 4.0, and a match selection of 98%. And then a match within those divisions, popular divisions, big teams only use on the bottom 2. That's what you want to be going for. What you're looking for, with all that criteria in place, you've got your alerts set on your phone, ready to take action. You're looking pretty much for 2 full turnarounds per month. Maybe 1, you can probably be profitable with 1 a lot of the time. But if you get 2, you're going to have a really nice profit over the course of a month. So the idea is you're getting on a lot of these 2-ups every single week. Every time you get a chance, 98% plus one of those divisions, get on that 2-up, and you'll pretty much lose the vast majority of them. But ultimately, over the course of a month, if you can get 1 or 2 full turnarounds, you'll have a really nice profit. So this isn't the kind of strategy where you'll be checking your phone every half an hour, seeing if you've got a profit from a 2-up. I literally wouldn't even bother doing that. Maybe at the end of the day, just have a check, see if something's hit, because it's not that kind of strategy. It's high variance, you're going to lose the vast majority of times. And if you're lucky and you're profitable for the month, you might get 2 full turnarounds, which is obviously ideal. And what we're looking for. But I will reiterate and say that I do prefer the cash out method. I've been very open in saying this. I do prefer to cash out and take smaller profits, or not small, but small in relation to the stakes that I use for 2-up. Obviously, you're taking a percentage return when you're using the cash out strategy, a percentage return of your back stake. But with this, the return is absolutely enormous, but again, you lose pretty much all the time. So those qualifying losses have to be really small, and when the big win comes, it'll wipe out all those small qualifying losses, and it will leave you with a big profit. And if you can get 2 of these full turnarounds per month, absolutely fantastic, and that's going to leave you with a big profit. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope it gave you a better insight into how to start doing the full turnaround strategy. It's up to you which one you want to go for. I've got a video on the cash out strategy on my YouTube channel. Check it out if you've not seen it. And of course, you've just seen the full turnaround strategy as well. So it's up to you. In my opinion, there will be a lot of efficiency to these strategies. You see efficiency everywhere you look, on Betfair, on Smarkets. And even though the bookmakers have margin applied to their odds and their overrounds in their favour, you will still get a lot of efficiency within these methods. So if I was to guess, I would suggest that if you run these 2 strategies side by side over the course of a year, you would pretty much find that they would give you the same profit more or less over time. There's a lot of efficiency in betting markets, even with the bookmakers overrounds and things like that. So they probably will both even out to a similar degree. But again, it just depends, how you want to go at it. Do you want to just do it really quickly, or do you want to take smaller profits continuously? It's up to you guys, but that is the full turnaround strategy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It means a lot to me. And if you want to receive more content from me as soon as it's released, tap that subscribe button, which also gives me an incentive to keep making content like this for you guys for free on YouTube. And if you want to join up with that Facebook group, feel completely free to do so. I'll be dropping lots of information in there about extra places, the 2-up, all that kind of stuff. I'll leave the link down below in the description of the video. And if you want to get an Odds Monkey free trial, my affiliate link's down below in the description as well. And that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate your time, and I'll see you soon in the next video.